Once Storware Backup and Recovery has been installed, you need to do initial configuration. We need to provide source, backup destinations. We also need to create a policy in order to execute first backup. First step is to check if you have a valid license. In our case, we have successfully applied trial license, and you can notice that in the settings, global settings, license tab. Now, make sure that you have configured your admin account accordingly. You can create additional accounts or change the existing one. Specify the time zone. Make sure that the language is correct and change your default password to yours. Click Change Password and then Save to save also the settings of the account. Now inside the dashboard, notice that there is a configuration wizard button. It allows you to define multiple aspects of the Storware Backup and Recovery. We have one running node, and now we select that as the source VMware vCenter server. The very first step is actually to provide the URL to your vCenter server. Provide the username and the password. We can click Next. And now we will invoke inventory synchronization on the hypervisor manager. In the meantime, we will just create a new backup destination. It's going to be a synthetic, not used for the cloud, and we are going to use XFS as the synthetic backend. Let's provide also some local FS as the name, and we are going to enable the duplication. This requires secure boot to be disabled on the VM, otherwise the video module will not be invoked. We have logged into this system, and notice that I have two devices, SDB and SDC. We are going to use both. One is going to be used for the deduplication device, so def SDB is going to be the one. And notice that I'm providing vProtect data as the root folder. This is going to use vProtect data as the staging space and vProtect data /backups as the backup destination, residing on the same physical device. Now let's go with the virtual environment's backup SLA creation. So the policy is going to be named production VMs. We are going just to skip the auto assignment for a moment, and we'll select one of the VMs that has, in the meantime, has been successfully synchronized with your vCenter. So there is a Windows machine here, and we can select our newly created backup destination. And we will create basic schedule for weekly full backups. So let's name it weekly full and leave the default time and schedule it for Sundays. So SLA has been also created. Now, one thing very important is to have the internal database backup for the Storware Backup and Recovery metadata. Default node configuration is responsible for that, our previously created backup destination, and we will leave the defaults for the time. Now we can go to the dashboard. Notice that in the dashboard we already have the application and virtual environments mentioned, so we have the protection statistics, and we can go to the Windows 10 machine and notice that there is production VMs policy already assigned. In the details of the policy, we will create additional schedule for incremental backups. Without incremental schedule, we will not be able to create incremental backups because we need to let know the platform that it needs to record the change block tracking information or leave snapshots for some other platform. So we're choosing incremental backup as the type and name it daily incremental as the name of the schedule. Once it has been saved, we will see that on the list of the instances we have not protected indicator. At this point, notice that we have in the meantime the deduplication being initialized, and you can see that vprotect data has been automatically mounted. Few things. Notice that my SDB device is 3 times smaller than the actual logical space for the duplication device. So in our vprotect data staging space and backup destination, I have 3 times more space. By default is going to be extended, and SDC is going to be used as our secondary backup destination. So this is the optional step. If you don't want to use the duplication, you have to create some specific folder for this destination, and you need to create an entry in FS tab so that it is actually available for the vprotect node service. And in the FSDC, we need to specify the backups to folder, for instance, XFS with the default. Also make sure that you have proper permissions for the vprotect user so that it is able to read-write from this folder. We are going to initialize this with the XFS file system, because remember that we are going to use synthetic as well on this one with mkfs command, and notice that my SDC device has been successfully initialized with the block device that was attached previously as the SDC. Inside the backup destinations, you still need to create a backup destination. So we'll create synthetic one, and we will just point to our mount point. You can attach technically also remote file systems. At this point you wouldn't be able to use the synthetic backup destination because it requires XFS file system, but remember that that option also exists. Now let's run the backup. So I have virtual environments and I see that my Windows 10 machine needs to be backed up. I create on-demand backup button and leave the default, so the full backup is going to be the very first backup that I'm going to create. At the bottom you have a task console. Notice that previously we have seen inventory synchronization process that run on our vCenter, and now you see that the export task has successfully been initiated. For the backups, the actual process consists of several steps. It's going to export data first. So you notice that the actual percentage of the backup status on the list of virtual environments differs from what you see in the console. First, we are going to export data to the staging space and later push data to any backup destination that you have defined. So in our case, it's going to be a local file system as described in the policy. So the data is going to be just moved and store phase is going to be instant. Backup has been completed. So now notice that export, store, staging cleanup and backup cleanup as well has been invoked on this instance. In the details of the virtual machine, you can specify backup statistics and check out the backup sizes, backup times and other details of your backups. In the dashboard, we have also the protected indicator green. That concludes this section. Thank you for watching and check out our other videos to see how to configure additional settings inside the Storware Backup and Recovery platform.